Okay, for the writing and language paper, these are the things, or 90% of the things you need. Because today, while going through one of the papers, I saw something strange, something that you might not even expect, but you will see it when we start going through, because today we're going to look through all these. Okay, punctuation marks, which we have actually done. What's left is for you to keep practicing and mastering. For grammar, tenses, which we're going to look at today, we did Concord, and you have the file for Concord, okay? Parallelism, transition, I think we'll do all these today. Then passage development. Here you just suggest a better sentence. Let me look for one example. Okay, like number 15. At this point, the author is considering adding the following sentence to the paragraph. So you'll read this sentence and find and see if it's necessary to add this here, okay, and why, okay? So that's for passage development. So we are done with punctuation marks. You have the Concord file. So let's quickly look at tenses, right? Now, tenses in grammar simply means time. The time an action took place. Okay, don't worry, I'll still send you this file. The time an action took place. So if you look at A, I am eating. When is the action taking place?
It's taking place right now.
Good. Now, I was sleeping. When is it taking place?
Past, before.
Before. I'll be traveling soon.
Future.
Future. Good. So we have simple tense, which deals with now and the present. We have perfect tense or past tense. I prefer perfect, which deals with the past. Then the future, which deals with something that will happen later. So let's take them one by one and demystify some of the concepts. Now, simple tense refers to actions that are happening right now, and they are still happening. You don't know when it will end, but it's happening right now. Now, for you to know simple tense, you usually find S or ES with the verb. So simple tense is divided into three, actually. We have simple present tense, which refers to an action that is happening right now. And you don't know when it will end. Maybe there's a definite time, but you did not state when it will end. Now, like I said, you find S or ES. My father works with Buhari. Is your father still working with Buhari?
Yes.
And you don't know when he will stop, right? Working for Buhari. So when you use ES or S after the verb or with the verb, it shows the action is currently happening and is still happening, okay? Simple past is very easy. You find D, ED, or T, or some other abnormal, irregular past tense of the verbs. It refers to actions that have happened before at the time of speaking. At the time when you were talking, the action has already been completed. I swept the room this morning. Are you still sweeping?
No.
The action has ended. I laid my bed this morning. The action has ended, right? So let's move on to simple future. It tells you when the action will happen. And for you to know simple future, look for ing. Or anything you hear future, look for ing or will and shall. Good. It tells you when the action will happen. It has not happened, it is not happening, but it will happen. I will be home for Christmas. This is April. Christmas is in December. And you're telling them something that will happen in 8 months' time, right? I shall write you soon. Later, the action is not happening. It will happen soon. Kenneth is going to be the head boy someday. Who's Kenneth? Who's Kenneth? Who's Kenneth? Okay, let me look for somebody in your set. Okay, let me say Mikhail. Now, ing here tells you that the action has not happened, okay? But it's going to happen. That's for simple tenses. Remember, simple present, you have S or ES. That is if the subject is singular. But if the subject is plural, like this, can you change it? What will work here now? Let me underline it. How would you change it? Can you correct it now? The underline word.
Is it how I can correct it to what? To present?
No, to just the grammar. Is this grammar correct? Our fathers works with Buhari.
Our father worked.
No. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
The underlined words in red now. Our fathers works with Buhari. What is wrong with that statement?
I don't see anything wrong.
Look harder. Our fathers works.
Is it based on punctuation or based on the...
Based on grammar, based on grammar.
Yeah. I think our fathers and works, they both have S at the end, and it's not meant to have S.
So which S should I remove?
The father's S.
If I remove this father S, what about this? Okay, it's possible to have, okay, let's do it this way. Their father. Okay, it can still be, I understand you now. What if I do this? What is wrong with the grammar? I just want to test your Concord.
I think now you should move the S for the work.
Perfect. I just wanted to hear that from you. I just wanted to hear that from you. Very correct. I also want you to know that I believe so much in you. And as far as I'm concerned, I will make sure you get the best score for this, whether you resume physically or not. Shall we continue, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we're looking at perfect tense. Anywhere you hear perfect, just know they are also referring to as what? Past. Okay? Now, perfect tenses refers to actions. Perfect tenses refer to actions that have been completed. Can you still hear me, Mikhail?
Yes, I can.
Okay, actions that have been completed. Now, they are broken down. They are also three. They are all three anyway. We have present perfect. Some people call it simple perfect, but it doesn't matter as long as you know the roles. Present perfect describes actions that have been completed, and it uses only the words have or has. Present perfect describes actions that have been completed, and it uses only the words have or has. Now, when do you normally use only has?
When it's still happening.
No, has. What sentence would you make and you say, and you use has? And what sentence would you make and you use have? What will happen to the subjects will be different. Okay, let me see if I can break it down. When should you use singular subjects or plural subjects?
Based on the verb.
Based on the verb. So when should you use singular subject here?
For single verb.
Which is have or has?
Has.
Good. So she has, right? That was why I said uses only the words have or has, because you can have singular and plural subjects here and singular subject here. So for present perfect, it describes an action that's have been completed. It describes actions that have been completed. She has done it again. Okay, she has done it again. The action has been completed. they have caught the thief. Now, if you look at simple past, there is no have here. What you just saw was the ed added to the verb. So if you come back here for present perfect, you have the has plus a verb in the past. Okay, the action has already been completed. That is present perfect. Some call it simple perfect. Now, past perfect. This one is easy because it uses only the word had. It describes an action that has already been completed at the time of speaking. So just note this. Anywhere you see present perfect is talking about have or has. Anywhere you hear had or you see had, no, it's talking about past perfect. And it simply means that at the time you were talking, the action has already been completed. By the time the police arrived, we had escaped. The action has been completed. Okay? Before the time elapsed, he had already finished the task. I pray you do that during the SAT exam, finish before time. Future perfect describes an action that will be completed sometime in the future. Let me explain this. You are talking now, but you hope that in the future, the action would have been completed. Now look at the first sentence, and it uses will have or shall have. Now look at this. I shall have read the book by Friday. Does this English even make sense to you? Let us be honest.
No, it does not sound right.
Thank you, but it's correct. I shall have read the book by Friday. That means at the time you are saying this, what day is it?
Before Friday.
Before Friday, it could be Monday. You are telling them that, don't worry, in the future, which is Friday, you would have completed the task. So I shall have read the book by Friday. Now, B, by 1399, every living human being now will have died. Do you agree?
Yes.
Because you're talking about 1,000 years from now, and I don't think anybody can live up to that. So you are saying this in 2022. In 1,000 and some hundreds years to come, every human being living right now would have died. Okay, I know you will have caught the mouse by the time I return. Can you explain this sentence to me, please? I know you will have caught the mouse by the time I return.
Yeah, he's already expecting him to catch the mouse.
In future, right?
Yes.
In future. So remember, for perfect tenses, you have or has to show that the action has already been completed. For past perfect, you use only had. Then future perfect, you use shall have or will have to tell you that the action will be completed in the future. Now, future tense refers to actions that are still going on, okay, and continuing in the future. It is progressive and it uses ing. I am eating. Now, this one is also very similar to simple future. Yeah, simple future. But you'll see the difference. I am eating. Michelle is listening to the teacher. The action is still ongoing. Future past refers to an good. Please listen to this. Future past refers to an action that was going on when something else happened. I was sleeping when he called my phone, or let me put it, when my phone rang. Future past refers to an action that was going on. before something else or before another action happened. You were sleeping. The sleep was still ongoing before another action, which is ringing, happened. Okay? I was eating when my mom called me. Now, future, okay, that's future past. Now, future continuous refers to actions that will happen at a later time. It uses ing, shall, or will. We shall be traveling to Kaduna. It tells you that the action will happen at a later date. We'll be resuming on the 13th of May. I think it's 9th now. Okay, so these ones are quite easy, but I want to actually draw your attention to what we saw yesterday. Present perfect continuous tense. This uses have or has. Remember we said present perfect uses has or have, right? Hello?
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah. Remember we said present perfect deals with has or have. Now we are saying present perfect continuous. That means you must have this. You use has or have, then a verb with an ing. Now listen to what this does. It refers to an action that started in the past, continues to the present, and extends to the future. Okay? For example, she started teaching. Now, for example, look at this. She started teaching in 2016. This is past, right?
Yes.
She is still teaching now in 2022. It is present, right?
Yes.
No one knows when she will stop teaching. That means it's still going on, right?
Yes.
Good. Now, let's watch this. Oh, I didn't give you examples. I didn't give you examples. Okay, let me give you the example now. And for you to just know this, this is the only, you use have or has, then you use this word being. Let me put this here. Let me color it blue. So for present perfect continuous tense, okay, you use have or has been, then you use a verb with an ing. She has been, so for example, she has been teaching since 2016. Now, you are saying this thing in 2022. So she has been teaching before, right? Which was before 2022.
Yes.
She's still teaching now, which is 2022.
And we don't know when she will stop teaching.
And she don't know when she will stop. That is it. So the action started in the past, continues to the present, and extends to the future. So for present perfect, there's just only one. Let me paste it here again. What you have is just have, has, been, then a verb with an ing. Now let's finish up. Past perfect. I told you something about past perfect, that there's only one word, had. Anywhere you see past perfect, just know they are talking about only one word, had. And what does it do? It refers to an action that
has finished.
Yes, happened in the past, continued, and ended in the past at the time of speaking. So look at this. James had left by the time Jane got to the house. The action ended, even the Jane getting to the house has ended. So anywhere you find had been or had, okay, she had been avoiding the man before she remarried. Now, this is past. She had been, sorry, avoiding. This is past. She's no longer, okay? She had been avoiding the man. Jane left the house past. James left the house past. Jane got to the house past. So anywhere you just find had, past perfect. Then when you see had plus a verb with an ing, just know you're talking about past perfect and continuous. So that is just all about tenses, okay? Simple, perfect, future. Simple is divided into 3, perfect is divided into 3, future is divided into 3, and more. Let me see if I have something here for you. Okay, now for this particular one, transition words, they show you how you connect different ideas in a sentence. How you, if you do not connect them, they will not make meaning. For example, I pushed the domino. As a result, it fell over. This as a result is a transition word because it connects this sentence with the other one. I'm going to send this to you right now. Hold on. I'm going to send this file to you right now. Let me see what I named it, tenses 2, so that you can actually take your time to read. Let me see, Concord. Yeah. So, oh, sorry, not Concord. Not Concord, it's tenses 2. Tenses 2, yeah. So please go through the tenses, okay? Go through the tenses so that you will learn, you will discover more tricks yourself. Now, we are going to attempt this paper together, and we are going to note some errors, okay? I told you in writing, you do not need to read the whole passage, except for passage development, where you need to read the first sentence and the subsequent sentences to find out where should I place this sentence. Is there any need or is there no need? Okay, for example, if I do something like this, don't worry, I'll type very fast so that you don't get bored. She did not come to school today. That was why she did not do. She did not do well in the test. Now, if this is the passage and they give you the options, say, do you need to, she didn't know what to study. Now, let me ask you, where do you think you should place this? Is there any need to place this sentence in red? Is there any need to place this sentence anywhere? Or should we just leave it that way? If you think there's any need to place this sentence somewhere in this paragraph, where should we place it?
It's okay there.
Where?
It's okay the way it's already.
Okay, what if I do this? What if I take it here and bring it here? Does it make sense?
It's just adding extra information about why she didn't come.
Exactly. That's what they will do. They will pick a sentence and keep it somewhere. Then if you look at the sentence, is there any need to add this sentence and where? If you look at it, she did not come to school today. Okay, let me just change it to last week. She did not know what to study for the test. That was why she did not do well in the test. So you see, this one is adding extra information. So this is not totally useless, right? It is not totally useless. If you are going to add it, where should you? Definitely not here, but the best place should be after the first sentence to provide you more information. Why should it not do well? So that's the this is just a perfect example of what they will give you here. Now, let's look at these questions. You are going to learn both grammar, punctuation marks again. We are going to take them one by one. Let's look at number one. Many states. Now, when you have questions like this, I would advise you to just read from the very beginning so that you just have a feel, a grasp, for the saying. He said, in 1919, the United States Congress passed a law prohibiting the transportation, production, and sale of alcoholic beverages. This followed decades of grassroots movements led by temperance societies across the nation. Many states and counties were already free from alcohol or dry. The federal government relied on local authorities to enforce the new law. Now, look at number one very carefully. Which one do you think? If it's possible, you can just use your pen to rewrite this and see which one makes sense. Many states and counties were already free from alcohol or dry.
I think it's D.
Perfect, Michael. Very, very correct. It is D because this other part of the sentence is giving you a reason why they need to enforce the law, right? Many states are already free from alcohol or dry, so the federal government relied on local authorities to enforce. You are very correct. So let's move on to number two. This number two is transitions. That's what I just sent to you. Therefore, the demand for alcohol after the law took effect, created an extensive black market that no police agency could handle.
So what does however do?
Thank you very much. However, let me show you the meaning of however so that we just pick it together. Despite the amount, despite this, do you see that? Despite this, okay, despite the police enforcing the law, that's what it's saying. Something else happened. Did you get that? However, simply means despite this, despite the fact that this happened, this also, okay? I taught him everything he needed to pass the exam. However, he still did not do well. Did you see that? Despite, right? Despite, moreover. So which is your answer now? However is correct, okay? So don't worry, we'll still look at the answers and maybe you want to see the reason. That should be number two. Number two is however, because the sentence containing underlined portion contrasts with the previous sentence. So anyway, we don't have time for this explanation right now. Okay. Number three, now let's look at this. Because the law prohibited distribution, sales, and production of alcoholic beverages, Americans, now this is a perfect example of that passage development. He said, at this point, the author is considering adding the following information, but not ownership. Where should you add the ownership? You know what? Let's do passage development on a separate day so that we'll just focus on grammar and punctuations today. I want to make sure you get everything about grammar and punctuations today. Is that okay?
Yes.
So that tomorrow we'll focus on this passage development, because you will have to read, you have to go back, you read one part, you read another part, and see if you fix these other ones and then see if they make sense, okay? So, same thing with, okay, look at number 6. These establishments distinctly sold liquor and quickly became popular places for people to get together and drink. Now, they have banned the sale of alcohol publicly, but some establishments secretly sold liquor, and later they became, popular. People would usually go there and drink. So distinctly, you have to replace distinctly with any of these. This is where confusion of grammar comes in.
So what's the difference between C and D?
Yes, exactly. Now, the first one deals with something that is independent, but the second one deals with something that you are very, very, very careful in doing. Let's check the meanings discreetly. Discrete. You see, having a clear independent shape, that means nobody's depending on you. But discrete, the other one with EET, shows that you are very careful not to cause attraction. You don't want people to notice that you are doing something. Okay? You don't want people to notice that you are doing something. So, which do you think is the answer now?
The last one.
Yes, the D. Discreetly. They discreetly sold liquor. They're being very, very careful. Like people who sell weed. Weed is not sold in the open market. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So people who sell weed, they usually do it discreetly. So let's keep moving. 7. 7, let's look at 7. Okay. It says police agencies regularly raided these risky businesses. This one is punctuation marks. So tell me how we can answer this.
I think it's either B or C.
B or C.
B or C.
If they actually ask you to pick one, which one would you go for?
I'll go for C.
Perfect. So let's check. 7 is B. Because they are two different independent clauses. Let's go to punctuation marks. This is not punctuation marks. Let's go to punctuation marks for, where is it? Punctuation marks. Let's go to semicolon. Again. Actually, if you ask me, I will also go for that C. I'll also go for the C because it's dependent. Now look at this. It's a shall. It's used to separate two parts of the sentence. But for me, if you ask me, I'll actually go for this. Okay. The reason I might not even go for this is because, however, she would also come with comma. She also come with comma. Yes, people can actually fall for this. So this one, I think they should even give concession to this. If you look at it, the C, okay? But oh, this is a very long sentence. I'm looking at it now. However, the profits were so, but it doesn't matter. People can actually still fall for, people can actually go for C. And I think they should also look at C because if you ask me, okay, if you ask me, yes, this one, semicolon, is correct technically. C can also be correct because you pause after the however and you continue with the idea. The only thing is that you pause and you are giving reasons. You are connecting this idea, the police raiding the place, okay? So this one is kind of, to me, I will still agree with B and C because it still makes sense. So you are within. So they should actually give concession to that. Now, look at 8. Look at 8. That 8 is very simple. Look at it very well. It says gangs often formed around illegal alcohol enterprises. And the mafia broadened their markets. Which one should you pick? Do we need to change anything?
C.
C, okay, C is correct because mafia is what?
One.
Okay, sorry, let's go. That's very good. Crime rates increased as much up to 25%. Now, this is your normal, there's something we call this conjunctions. Yeah, correlative conjunctions, right? Okay. As much as, now look at these options, as many as. Which one do you think would make sense?
This is 20%. I think is up to as many as.
As many, you are talking about the number of people or the number of persons. But you see, it is talking about percent now. So it should be much. Let's look at the explanation for 9. I think that should be 9. Now, the correct answer is as much. It's the standard phrase used, which means up to. As many as conveys the same meaning, the underlined portion is referring to the amount of crime, which is uncountable. Okay? Making much the appropriate determiner. Many is used to modify countable. Yes, you know, that's why it's percentage. So that's why you go for as much as. So anywhere you see percentage, like percent, go for as much as, okay? So let's look at 10. Some counties opted to retain local prohibition laws, and many dry counties still existed in southern states. Wow, hold on. This is one easy grammar that you can fail. Now, just read the sentences. Some counties, just start, you know what I told you, that if you find in a paragraph a question in the middle, it's better you take it from the top. The problems introduced by the banning of alcohol far outweighed its benefits. And in 1933, Congress repealed prohibition. Some counties opted to retain local prohibition laws, and many dry counties still existed in southern states, such as Texas and Mississippi.
Will exist.
Okay, I think that one is easy, right? I don't think we done. And many counties still exist. 10 is D. Let me see if they can give us some. Okay, so it's very correct, D. This is grammar. Just like I said, I told you that for percentage, let me start writing things here. Just note this. When you're talking about percent, use as much as. Then let me see, have we talked about any other word that sounds confusing again? Okay, discrete and discretely, right? Coming there. Yes. Discretely, this one means like carefully, not to attract attention. Yeah, so note that. Now, this particular one.
What of discrete? I forgot.
Okay, I should put, okay. Discretely means this means like you are independent. Okay. You are on your own. You are depending on yourself. Now, look at this. Today, the law is largely seen as a flop for the unforeseen negative consequences of enactment. What is the meaning of flop?
Or a failure or something that.
So pick the answer there. So pick the answer there. Pick the answer there. Pick the answer there for number 11.
But they said that based on the style and tone of the passage.
Yes.
How would I know the style and tone of the passage?
Okay. Now, this is the style, the tone. Here, they tried to ban alcohol. At some point, it felt as if they were succeeding. But later on, it was clear that people were still doing the business. So their plan did not work out. This is government regretting that they did not progress. So this is it. That is the tone. That is the style. The style is very formal. The style is formal. The tone is like a tone of regret. The government did not succeed in what they tried to do.
I think we should say failure.
Yes, failure is official. Failure is formal. Flop is informal. Okay? Yeah, all those ones are just informal. Let's see. If you look this, if to fall, huge hairs, flop, you see, all these are informal language. These are informal things you use, okay? So let's look at bungle. To do something wrong in a careless or stupid way, this is also informal. This is not, let's look at failure and see why it is no success. The meeting was a complete failure. Now, you see, meeting is a formal, right? It's a formal word. So just note, in a formal setting, like there are words you don't use, like love, hate, in a formal write-up. Do you agree? If you're writing a letter to the president, love, hate, no. Instead, you can say, I am interested in. Does that make sense to you? I would love to be a member of your staff because I have ideas to help better this country. I am more interested in joining your cabinet. Which one do you think makes sense?
I am more interested.
Yes, you see, so there are words. So flop, this is a formal write-up. So let's move to this one. You will enjoy this one. Heavy lifting, balloons take flight. Buoyancy is a force exerted on an object immersed in a fluid. For aerostats, which include balloons, zeppelins, what they're trying to say is that if you bring, okay, let me not explain. Look at number 12. Remember, this number 12, they gave you a clue. They say for aerostats, which include balloons, zeppelins, blimps, the fluid is air. So which one do you think? What aerostat simply means is that anything that flies on air, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pick your answer for 12.
No change.
No change, perfect. Because airplanes falls under this, warcraft fall under this, submarines, this one is even an error. So let's go. Now, this one is grammar, your rule of concord. The buoyant force exerted on the craft by the surrounding atmospheric gases was equal to the look at it again. The buoyant force exerted on the craft by the surrounding atmospheric gases dash equal to the weight of air. Grammar.
It's past tense, so it can't be our is. So it's either no change or has been. I think it's
the focus here is the force exerted. Okay. The buoyant force exerted. Look at number 13 again, carefully, and think where you should actually place. Well, if it's was, if you say no change, then I'll advise you to start from the beginning. Okay.
It is equal.
It's equal, good. It's equal. To confirm, let's look at 13. You see 13 is, right? Which is the last. So the buoyant force is 1. I know why you said, what number is that one again? Okay. You see, this is a continuous thing. Okay, I think you got that answer when you read from the top. Okay, let's look at this one. This one is quotation marks. A typical hot air balloon achieves lift when the air inside the balloon is heated. So attempt 14. Attempt 14. Have you picked an answer?
I'm picking.
Okay. Look at it very well. It's just punctuation marks. Know when to pause.
I think it's B.
Look harder. Yeah, you are very correct. B, you are very correct. When heated, comma, air becomes less. Okay. 15, 16. Let me look at 16. Okay. A larger balloon contains a greater volume of heated air, so it loses more weight when the air inside is heated. In addition, it experiences greater lift. So which one do you think is the best answer? In addition, therefore, but. Let me see if I can make it smaller. Yeah. Which one do you think will fit in? So it loses more weight when the air inside is heated.
It's like something that's same what happens when it
now,
loses more weight.
Yes. Now look, take it from here. A larger balloon contains a greater volume of heated air. So it loses more weight when the air inside is heated. Dash, it experiences a greater lift.
I think it's therefore.
Therefore is very correct. Therefore is very correct. Punctuation marks. I think I'll have to skip because we have 6 minutes left. Or should I send you one of these to practice on your own?
Yeah, I would like that.
Yes, okay, I'll send to you now. And I'll also send you this video. We'll keep practicing. I'll prepare the passage development, just like the passage development. You know what? The passage development and readings, we need to go into reading so that we'll be taking everything together. Okay, let me just keep and look for 1 or 2 questions that you might be interested in. Okay, look at 31. Look at 31. To become proficient at working with wind turbines, a technical school is attended where technicians take courses about installing and repairing turbine equipment. Take a look at 31 and see what you can actually do.
I think it's B.
B, technicians attend. Very correct. Very correct. Look at 32. Many other courses are necessary to become a successful technician, and students often elect to learn electrical systems maintenance, hydraulic systems maintenance, basic computer programming, as well as first aid and CPR. Which is the answer. This one is quite simple.
I think is
Look
B.
harder. Look harder. You see, you use a comma. Listen to me now. You use a comma before the and when you have another independent, or when you have another sentence, or when you have another clause. This is just a word.
You know, I didn't even see. I didn't even see the full stop.
Yeah, sorry.
So the answer is no change.
It's no change, which is very correct. Okay. Yes. Remember what we did yesterday about small and few?
Yes.
Do you remember? Let's try
Yes.
this. Certificates are not necessary for employment, but can be attained to lend credibility to technicians with fewer work experience. Let's go.
Lesser.
Lesser
less.
or less. Good. B, that's 33. You see it? 33 is B, less. Okay? Now, I'll send this thing to you. Let's just, okay? Yes, this is, I need to do this. I need to do this 38. I might even do it. The group also receives, no, 38, receives dash 37. Okay, let's try 37. Now, this man died and he tried to send a message. He sent a message, but people did not understand the message. Okay, so look at this. He said the group also receives esoteric messages from the deceased employer. That's 37. Esoteric. Let me explain this. When you send messages in codes, that's why you hear people say it's encrypted. You've heard that thing before, right?
Yes.
So that's cryptic. But this is the one I actually want to do, 38. The group also receives esoteric messages from their deceased employer, 38. He attempts to contact them via an informational recorded prior to his death. Now, look at 38. Let me make it good. Look at 38. Receive messages from their deceased employer, dash, he attempts, is it who or whom? When do you use, let me see if I can type.
Whom is for ownership.
No,
Of a
whom
subject.
or who.
Whom is for
Now,
subject.
yes, who is for subject, whom is for object. So where should you place this one now?
Where?
So which one should you pick? Is it whom or
Is who?
is whom? Correct. Whom. It's whom, because this is the object whom he attempts to, okay? They were referring to this man, which makes him the object. Yes. Immersed. You need to know this grammar. Look at 41. This is just grammar. Throughout the story, Joe Chip and his colleagues become immersed with an illusory reality and discovery. Can you correct the sentence, please? Remember, Joe Clip and his colleagues. Immersed means to cover someone with something, like to baptize.
Okay. 41.
Yeah, 41. Throughout the story, Joe Chip and his colleagues becomes immersed. So the first thing you have to check is, should it be becomes or become? Which of them?
Become.
That means A and D, they are out, right?
Yeah.
Now, your answer now should be between C and B and C. Now, when you use the word immerse is like to dip somebody into something. And when you use the word immerse, you use it within and not into. Okay? Let me show you an example. Immerse. Did you see it here? Let me click it. Immerse in, can you see my screen at all?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yeah, when you use immerse, you use in. Did you see it? The shells should be immersed in. So the answer here is in. Okay, so just know when to use your in, and the last question. This was the one I said I wasn't expecting. Dick's former wife commented on the novel, stating that U-Big represents God and the restorative power of the spray can is a dash for faith. Is it hyperbole, simile, or metaphor, or double entendre?
What is double entendre?
No.
I said, what is double
Okay.
entendre?
Okay, let's find out together then. Because these terms just come out double and double entendre meaning. It simply means, okay, a word that has two interpretations. Oh, in literature, we call it zeugma. Okay, so when you hear people talk, well, I don't think he really meant that. That word is a dash for this. So the spray can.
I think is a metaphor.
Very correct. It's very correct metaphor. Anytime you hear people compare, you see they are comparing this spray can, okay, to faith. So you see it's a metaphor for faith. You are comparing this spray can to mean faith. Okay, Mikhail, I'll send this file to you right now.